Good morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Um, One of
Thank
my
you for
first
having me.
questions for you guys is what about the script or you guys' characters attracted you to the project?
Well, I think for me, it was like a combination of the characters and the other actors. I mean, Hannah and Carice and Roland and and the fact that we got the opportunity to work in this amazing villa, which is like incredibly an incredible place to be working. So to me, it was a combination of that, the whole thing.
Were you guys familiar with the history of the villa prior to onboarding for the film, or was it something that you had just learned?
I didn't have any knowledge of the house, but as soon as I started doing detective work about it, it's just opened up a whole new world and interest in me.
Of course. And now I know that, you know, part of the story takes place in such a difficult time in history. Were there any challenges given the fact that, you guys were taken into this period?
And I think some of the challenges were sort of trying to, sort of understand that the whole framework of this story is actually the Czechoslovakian story from like the end of the 20s till 68. And the film sort of tells, uh, along with all the stories of these characters, it also gives you an idea of what happened in the Czech Republic over those years. And I think, it really sort of helped to dig into that a little bit, and because that is the framework of it.
I liked the fact that oftentimes movies that include this part of history in their films, sometimes it almost makes that the central part of the whole film. Whereas here, it was just kind of like a sprinkle, but it wasn't the main concept of the film. There's love, there's the history of the house, there's so much more to the story than just what was going on at the time. I guess this would be a question for Hanna. What about your character? Do you think she was afraid of coming out? Was it the time? How was that to embody that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, both Liesel and Hannah, they are forced to live lives that are expected from them, from the society. Um, as I said before, they had to live with taking care of the children, looking good, smiling, having fun. The man was working, but the main thing they were. I mean, it was such. Every woman was supposed to love a man, and vice versa. And I guess I can't even imagine to live this life in a lie. And that's a fight people still are fighting today. So that was the big thing that I kind of was drawn to, that they were the people that was fighting before us, and also, I mean, they suffered and sacrificed for us to come this far, but still we have a long way to go.
You're right. We still have a long way to go, but it's incredible that the film touched up on this because sometimes we forget that long ago these were still issues that people were battling inside, and because of society and because the acceptance wasn't as prominent, it wasn't as common, but it doesn't mean that people didn't go through it. So that was very interesting to shine a light on
Mm.
that. Now the story alludes to, the house is a big central part of the story, but why do you think, for both of your characters, why do you think their lives are so affected by that connection to the house?
Oh, that's really interesting. That's because I think it's sort of like a synergy, isn't it? It's like this: the house affects them, and they are affecting the house. I mean, the houses built by these two people, I mean, actually the houses sort of build on what Hannah's character agrees with the architect. In a way, it's really her wishes that sort of makes the house come true, and that sets another kind of framework for the story. And then it's sort of a synergy. It's like an interaction with the house, where the house sort of does something to these people, and these people does something to the house. So I think that is like a mystery of this movie, and that's really interesting, sort of, because it's a riddle where it sort of starts and where it ends. But I really like that. I really like the fact that they are so shaped by what they build, and what they build is shaping them also.
I think also that Victor and Liesel, they built the house. I mean, the house were their dreams. I mean, and that means a lot. If your dreams just shattered or destroyed, then it's awful.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you build your entire dream, and you build the total framework for your family, and then you have to give it up and you have to leave it. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, I know that we're talking about that we're in a COVID crisis right now, and it's really setting a weird agenda for us. But the thing where you have to run from your home and you have to leave everything behind, and your whole, I mean, this is their life work. They have put everything into this, and they have to run from it. I think it's unless you've tried it, I don't think you can you can't wrap your head around it until you've done it. I think it's such an immense, a huge fucking thing, and I just hope we did a sort of a decent job of sort of just making sense of all that.
No, absolutely. I think you guys did a terrific job. I feel as though throughout from the beginning of the movie, there are so many things that are a little bit left unsaid, meaning it's not as obvious as to, it doesn't just tell you what is going on. There's a lot left to interpretation,
Yeah.
and I think as the movie goes on, you're kind of left to ponder, you know, just the title, from the title itself to the beginning. There's a lot of things that you, at least that's what I took from it. When you guys watched it back, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I sort of have the same feeling that what you're saying. I mean, what they have, everything is sort of, it's not like it's blurted out and it's not spelled out. So it's really sort of subtly introduced all these little things, and it gives the film sort of a little bit of a dreamlike character to me when I watched it, because also the cinematography is like amazing. It's so beautiful, and the locations are amazing. And then, so everything is like looking totally fantastic. And then you've got all these souls that are all squashed in under all the machinery of the war and the communists and all that. And but it still has that sort of kind of a little bit of a because nothing is said in
Right.
so many words. It's all sort of implied in a way, and
Exactly.
therefore it sort of becomes a little bit like a dream,
That's
and
true.
sometimes a little bit like a nightmare also, I think.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. The sensation I felt is that it was never, you know, it was never mentioned that there was a war. It was never mentioned that there was an affair per se. And none of the stuff was really spoken about directly. Everything was just kind of left to your own interpretation by what we were watching. What do you guys feel? Because I know this film was taken and adapted from the novel The Glass Room. How did you guys feel about the title change?
I think that was a good choice, actually. It's more about the affair between all the people, not only Hanna and Liesel's affair. It's everyone's having affairs to survive in this cruel world that they are living. No, you just frozen in my computer.
Okay.
So for me, I don't know about the author or writer of the book, what he feels, but I think as a movie, I think that's a good choice.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. And Claes, congratulations. I know you have a song that just released too, so wanted to mention that.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cover song. Yeah.
Have a great day, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Stay safe.
Bye. Take care.